So this is one of the Retrofit Vertical Vises. They are super slip for holding round nodules where you really need to have a grippy. Like say if I'm doing Montana agates, lagunas, anything that may not be really accommodated by the horizontal clamp, the vertical vise is definitely a better option. Super easy to swap these out. First trick is getting the old vise off. That's going to be the first thing you're going to do. So I'm going to switch to my first camera here. All right, we're down on my camera right here, and what we're going to do is we're going to proceed. We're going to basically take this vise loose, and the first step to do this is take your wing nuts off right here, and we're going to take those off there. Take this top bar off. Take this bottom bar off. And then what you're going to see is you're going to see two Allen screws right here. Now what you want is you want an Allen wrench that fits really snug in there. And what I always do is I always try to make sure I get it all the way down in there. Now, if you are afraid that you're going to strip this out, getting this loose, because that can happen because if they're in there really tight, I'm going to switch to my other camera here so I can talk to you through this. If it's really tight, what you want to get is you want to get a socket and a driver. And that's what I'm going to do in this particular case. I'm going to get a ratchet and a driver to put in here to get this loose. So worst comes to worst, you need to drill this out, and I'll show you basically the technique on that. But usually if you get a driver, and I suggest you shoot these screws down with WD-40 or better yet liquid wrench, which you can buy like an auto parts store, to anti-seize them, to get them to loosen up before you try and take them off. But we'll grab a ratchet and I'll show you that technique. So what I have is I've grabbed myself a hammer, a ratchet handle, one of these little sockets. It's a 5/32 socket with a little hex tip and an extension. And what I want to do is I want to get this into the place here, make sure I'm all the way down. And I'm also going to tap that a little bit because sometimes that will help loosen it up. Then I'll get my ratchet on here. And I'm going to put safety glasses on because if I break a tool, it's smart to have protection there. Go back to this other camera there. And what I'm going to do, and I'm actually not going to use the extension, I'm going to get all the way down on it. There we go. That one's loose. And they're tight. I get one in here. Just to really make sure I'm down in there and loosen it up. There we go. So that allows me to loosen both of them up. I'll grab my T-handle now and unloosen this and unloosen this. And there I'll pull my old vise off. And now we're going to prep our new vise to go on. Now, one of the things you'll notice is you'll see there's two openings here. There's a hole there, there's another hole underneath here. So to get to this hole, I actually need to close the vise, and to close the vise all the way, I need to remove part of that vise jaw so I can close it further and get to that other screw hole. So what I do is I remove the rear vise wood just by using that same 5/32 socket. That's why it's good to have a socket. I prefer it faster than doing this by hand. There we go. Now you see I've got that off, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to just crank this thing down the opposite way until I can expose that other bolt, the bolt hole. So I'm going to do that. Now with your vise, we also ship you out, or we have in stock here. It takes a shorter Allen screw, and we typically, sometimes we include them, if we remember to include them, but it's basically the same Allen bolt, but it's shorter, because since this mounts further down, if you use this one, the originals, it can hit against your cross feed. So you want to generally try to get a little bit shorter bolt in there. I'm basically what I'm doing here is I'm closing this vise, you can see, closing this vise down, and shortly you're going to see that I can see that other bolt hole get exposed. And you see it's fairly low, so you need a short bolt. in these in order to make that work. So there you can see now I got my second hole. I'll line these up right there. And then I'm going to go grab my short Allen bolts, and I'll show you what those look like. I didn't have any of those screws, but I cut them down. So you can see I've cut these short, so they're kind of stubby. Then we're going to switch back here, and what I'm going to do is pick these little stubby puppies and put them down in the holes. And so I can get them down in here. Basically line it up so I can get these to go down in the holes nicely. Like I said, that's something I'll just order some of those in, so if you do need them, we have them. But basically I've tightened these on here. There we go. And I'm not going to make it crazy tight. You don't need to make it super crazy tight. And then I'm going to move my carriage in, and then I'm going to undo my vise jaw, put my other wood vise on, and then we can start cutting agate nodules with this and other kinds of cool things. We'll use our drop saw for the bigger, chunkier pieces. We'll use this, and I'll be putting a 12 and a 10 in place here as soon as I have them for doing more of the smaller pieces. So I'm going to get this back in place, and now I'll just tighten these back up. Get my vise wood back in place here. Not hard to do this. It's the trick is getting the original off of there, and that's why I said I use some, if yours has been on there for a while and you're a little concerned about it, use some liquid wrench to kind of loosen it up, and then bang them like you saw when I put this. And I'd use a ratchet. I wouldn't use just an Allen wrench. Ratchet will give you a little bit more control, and there you go. So now we have our vertical vise all installed, ready to cut some really cool little pieces. So hopefully that helps you there, and certainly let us know if you got any questions. Otherwise, have fun cutting some agate. Hey, thanks for watching today. If you like what you see, click the like button. Subscribe if you want to get more videos like this, and down below in the description you'll find a link that goes to our website. It goes to also what we showed you today, more information about that, and leave comments if there's things that you like, if there's things that you want us to do more on, if there's videos that you want us to shoot that we haven't shot. We're very open to that. We're really looking for ways to help you be successful in your endeavors with the tools and technologies that we create, as well as any other aspect of the hobby.